We are live, I think. Hey, hey guys, everybody, good to see you. We are here joined with Michael Khan for this awesome member stream. How you doing, mate?
I'm doing fine, mate. You?
Good, good. Thank you very, very much. I'm good on the circumstances that I can be,
Yeah, yeah.
but yeah, it's okay. But it's good to see you, man. Good to see
Good
everybody.
to see you too.
Yeah, it's quite dead in the YouTube lands at the moment, but people usually think I start later, so we started earlier tonight. So
Yeah,
that
yeah.
might be the
PJ
reason.
went to notice, really.
No, you won't notice
In
yet.
fact, he were at Aldi last time I spoke to him, so he might not even be back yet.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I enjoy the member streams though because it's so chill. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's just us. But yeah, we were going to be carrying on with where we left off last. Um, where they started exploring ancient architecture and technologies or
Mm.
whatever, and they started getting to all the new age stuff. Um, so let's see what they carry on talking about because it's actually still a lot to go through. It's quite crazy.
Yeah, it was.
But the biggest thing that got me with these people is why do they all seem very ignorant to scripture?
Mm.
If you've
I
realized that.
mean, all questions we've had about it, and all contradictions we've seen in it, and there's not one of them's really questioned him.
Yeah, that's the thing. Why? But I think
It's the same with
that's
this business with Banjo. Like, you're telling me that no one's pulled him and said, you've added Messiah into this scripture where it's not in any Bibles. Like, why have you done that? Why aren't people pulling him on it?
that's
It's so
see that's
bizarre.
to me I think it's because they idolize him. I think
Mm.
people idolize certain people like Banjo and JT and them, they make idols of them and then they don't really see the wrong.
Yeah.
Which
I mean, yeah, I understand though, because I have been in that position in past. When I first got into Flat Earth and that. I did idolise a few YouTubers, but I soon shook heart in it. But I suppose when you're right, like when you do, when you're emotionally attached to that channel, like you tend to defend them even when you know they're wrong. You
yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah, it seems to be an internet culture kind of thing. But
Yeah.
it's sad because the people are taking the same path down, you know, and these people pushing this nonsense just don't really care. They literally just don't care. And I think that's very sad to me. But hey, we'll
Like,
all stand before God. They're going to stand for it one day and they have to answer for what they've done. So,
but that's what we're trying to wake them up from, though, isn't it? You know what I mean? It's like we're not. It's not. It's not a problem with them. You know what I mean? It's a problem with the idea that they're trying to push. Like, it's clearly not in Bible.
exactly. No, it's exactly that. Um, but yeah, we can only take it day for day. We can only pray for them that they do wake up from this delusion. Um, put in God's
I'm
hands.
hoping. Well, I'm hoping that there's going to be events that unfold over coming years that'll snap them out of it. Like, to be
Well,
honest.
I think a lot of them are probably going to wake up when the third temple gets built.
Yeah.
Because what are they going to
Yeah.
say then? Because they've always said, no, there's no third temple.
Well, this is when you'll find out whether they're honest to themselves or cog disc kicks in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, are they going to accept it or just say, no,
I,
this is
I
just
can
added?
Im- I,
Because I can already
I
hear
can imagine
excuses.
them. Go on, go on.
Because I can already hear excuses where people's going to say, oh no, they're just trying to replicate Revelations, to make it
Yeah,
look.
that's exactly what I'm going to say. Like, Satan's Adam built this temple just to deceive people into thinking prophecies getting fulfilled. But like that's going to be serious cog dis in it. Like,
Oh yeah, yeah. But that's when it's going to get testing people. Are they going to really be um, honest with themselves and say, okay, I was wrong? Or are they going to make excuses like you said? Because I can see that happening. What's up, PJ?
see,
When
like
did you
the
start?
Yeah, I started early today because I'm home alone. So thought,
Oh,
see,
hey,
like
okay. Let me finish getting dressed and making a coffee then.
Like, it's one of them scenarios, you know, like it's like the believer and non-believer scenario. You know, if we're wrong, then it doesn't so much matter. You know what I mean? But if these guys are wrong, it really, really
it's
does matter.
really bad for them.
You know.
But I mean, look at how they're doing exactly as we say they're doing. I mean, they're falling into exactly the trap we're claiming they have a big chance of falling into by claiming the Messiah as Jesus. And Banjo's showing this through and through. Because he's claiming Daniel 9 is not about the Antichrist, it's about Jesus. And the sad part of that is because when the Antichrist comes and reveals himself, he's going to reveal himself as Jesus to these people.
Yep.
There's some big problems with what Banjo said. Like, I'm going to make a video when I get home.
So, yeah.
Because there's some serious issues with it. Like,
big issues.
For one, it don't fit in that 70 weeks timeline. You know, just don't fit. But the problem is that these guys claim. Does JT not claim Antichrist came before 70 AD?
Yes, as far as I know, yes.
Well, that's a problem in itself, because Banjo is Banjo claiming that the temple destruction was abomination or not?
Yeah, but he's claiming Jesus did that. Yeah, Banjo's claiming Jesus did the abomination.
But if that's the case, then tribulation comes after that.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's just so much wrong with it, and I mean,
it's just bizarre.
They're all over the place, you know what I'm saying?
I really wish they'd all just be all be on the same page and all that same claim, and we can deal with that. But like, it's all over the place. Really is.
Saying author of confusion is Satan, isn't it? So everybody's all over the place. Even people within Satan's short season, one might give you a certain different evidence or history piece than somebody else. You know what I mean? But in general, they use the same scriptures. But again, the scriptures they use, you can also use it straight back at them. You know what I mean?
But that's exactly that, yeah.
And like, all we can do is speculate on what they actually claim, because they'll not talk to us and tell us. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they refuse. They refuse to engage with us. That's the sad part of it all.
I mean, Banjo, like, I can't figure out what Banjo is actually claiming, mate, to be honest.
And now Banjo's attacking Dean Odell as well. And I find that very ironic, because the day I emailed Dean Odell to say, hey, I would love to have a discussion with you, I see Eddie Banjo live stream, and he talked about Dean Odell attacking Dean Odell.
I know, yeah. It's almost like it were meant to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because Dean Odell is also against this Satan short season nonsense. He says it's a big error, and I agree with him.
I should have. Any Christian with a slight ounce of brain cells, like, can see it for what it is.
Exactly.
You know, if you can read the Bible, I mean, come on.
Yep. Yeah, but yeah, hopefully I'll get to chat with Carlos again, because you saw when he was.
Yeah. I mean, I disagree with Carlos and what he thought, but you know, he was being nice enough that night.
Yeah.
Carlos were in a predicament with that 70 weeks, so from what I heard him say.
Oh yeah, he was in a big issue.
Oh yeah.
The problem is, because he doesn't believe in the Trinity, and he also I think he's an amillennialist, to be honest. So he sits with a few issues. So I'd still love to have that discussion with him. But the thing is, people have such a hatred.
On your own.
The problem is, a lot of people have such a hatred either for the Catholics or for the Jews that it blinds them so much to the bias they have towards them. You know what I mean? So they just literally see it into everything. And that's a trap people fall into.
Right.
And unfortunately, Satan's short season is 90% of them I've seen so far are anti-Semitic.
Yeah, well, yeah.
So, okay, but let's carry on. Let's.
How can you be a follower of Jesus and be anti-Semitic? Like, it's insane.
I don't know.
You just can't. You just can't. You're not meant to hate anybody. Yeah. I mean, Jesus forgave the people who rejected him. So who are we not to?
Yeah, but the thing is, the most ironic thing is, they claim, you know, they hate Jews, but yet Jesus was a Jew.
I know.
Right.
But then they'll just say, well, they're not the real Jews, you know. It's like, how insane can you be? You have to, like, imagine that every single Jew left that area and have never gone back yet.
But that's the thing. There's historical evidence.
Sorry, you go.
No, I'm saying there's historical evidence of Jews that stayed behind.
That's
you know what I mean?
Yes, that's what I was meaning. The remnant. That's exactly what I was about to say. Exactly.
People stay behind. Not everybody leaves in an exile. I mean, look at all the Muslim countries around. Okay, those countries used to be Christian and Jewish. Now they're Muslim. That doesn't mean there aren't Christians and Jews in those countries. Just a very, very small minority of people.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see what they say.
The frequencies and the vibrations led to healing. Mm-hmm. You know, there's this component that does seem missing in our current technology. It is about sound. So if you think about all the bells, then you see the old pictures of them getting rid of all the bells during the World Wars. And
in Albion, no matter where you go or what you do, your mount will accompany you on your journey. Perhaps.
Okay.
Like, because the bells were even the physical sound, much less the vibrational frequency of the building itself.
The bells had absolutely nothing to do about the sound or vibration. The bell was just simply to tell people, hey, it's church time.
They were getting rid of bells in World Wars. To what? There were, like, frequency emitters. So the people, you know, who were alive before World War One must have known that there were frequency emitters. Like, so why don't we know about that?
That's crazy.
You know what I mean? It just doesn't make sense, man. It's like, when you start thinking about these, this is like, I can see why Nathan has a problem with conspiracy theories. Like, I really can, because they foster some rape bullshit.
Some of them, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Exactly. The thing is that I've seen, it's okay to be conspiracy minded, okay? But there's a line that you draw.
Of course.
And unfortunately with these people, they don't know where the line ends. They cross the line, create a new line, cross that line. At the end of the day, they've gone so cuckoo, they make every conspiracy theorist look insane.
Right.
Because they just try and pick straws everywhere they can to put together, which is just, no, come on. There comes a time where you have to realize that maybe everything you're pushing might just be total nonsense.
Yeah.
It's just speculation, though, isn't it? You know, that's all it is, speculation. These can't prove that bells were, you know, used for harmonics to make people healthy and that, you know.
Exactly.
It's just pure speculation. Show me evidence.
Yeah, they just say it, exactly. I just want to say hi to everybody in chat. Emma, good to see you. Thomas, what's up? And obviously PJ and Michael. You guys rock.
Yeah, actually, I want to say that there was studies done that some of these buildings, when they had no sound in them, they had this certain kind of vibrational frequency that you could be tested.
Yeah.
What? Studies done.
Okay.
In these buildings that don't exist anymore. How the hell do they do these studies if those buildings don't exist anymore? Does that make sense? I mean, they claim these buildings don't exist. The only buildings they claim now that exist is normal cathedrals, which we can show when they were built, by who.
But, like, I've never thought that churches were built in a design so that people sat at back at church could get vicar, same as people sat at front.
Yeah.
You know, in times when there weren't microphones.
Yeah, they understand acoustics, just like when people started understanding acoustics when they went in caves, for Pete's sake. You realize certain shapes gives a certain echo which be able to travel further, sound travels further. So they built their cathedrals and things in a manner that everybody can hear.
Yeah.
It's not about making it angelic. The angels came and showed us how to do this. Oh, people are dumb. Me, angel, will show you how to make arch. Come on. These guys literally make humans sound like we're the dumbest people, dumbest things ever. Forgetting that we were created in God's image with the knowledge.
The knowledge that angels taught mankind were the knowledge that caused problems.
Problems.
You know? Things that man weren't supposed to learn at that time.
Right.
You know?
Right.
I mean, let's for instance look at today's technological advancements and things. That's quite a feat, okay? Are the angels giving us these technological advancements, or is it humans?
Exactly.
So, I mean, I think if people can figure out how to make a floppy disk work, okay, I think people would have figured out how to make an arch create sound.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a speaker, okay? The vibrations there give the sound, so we're able to hear. They understand the different frequencies give those sounds. This is an advancement of understanding of how the arches were built in the cathedrals those days. Doesn't mean the angels gave us this knowledge. And I think people must try and understand that, you know, sometimes you just need to learn to sit back a bit and look at this and think, okay, maybe what we push might just be too much. Because I think that's when you get to people like Jason Jack, where he starts claiming Michelangelo was an angel.
Yeah.
Pure insanity, man.
Yep. Hey, Vicky, good to see you.
When there was no sound in them.
They could still test it for those same
Yeah.
frequencies. Yeah, well, we were talking about that a little bit earlier before you got here. How and I don't think the vibrational stuff is new agey at all. Like, I think it's very scientific.
One minute. Tell that to them messing about with tuning forks and that. They're definitely new ages.
Oh yeah. Remember, they sit in and they do frequency tuning to each other, okay, to make their chakras align. Come on, man.
And obviously, well, I believe that science in general is kind of us trying to our best effort to explain all these rules God's put in place. I don't think science and God compete at all, But you look at an opera singer, and when they hit that right pitch, when they hit the frequency in their voice, that's the same frequency as that crystal glass. It breaks.
Yeah.
So obviously, and if you just saw somebody do it,
yeah.
And what?
What has that got to do with anything he's just already spoke about?
I know. I mean, and it's really hard to get to that frequency to break that glass. It's not very easily done, is it? You know what I mean?
But I mean, it's just simply.
Has someone ever broke a glass with the voice?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I've seen.
But it must be really hard to get to that frequency.
It takes practice.
Yeah.
You're not just going to expect any Tom, Dick, and Harry to do it. You know what I mean? It's going to take some practice, and the opera singer's able to get to the right octave to make it shatter. But that literally doesn't mean anything special other than, hey, vibration, because sound comes out vibrational.
Yeah.
Like the Bible says, there's power in the name of Jesus. There's power in the words you speak.
Yeah.
So that's why it's so important not to always be so negative about things and always.
Right.
I remember when I was younger, and this was actually explained to me by my youth pastor, where it was talking about sound, and it was like, you should be careful what you say, because think about this: your sound wave travels, and it just travels and carries on traveling. You know what I mean? It echoes and it travels back to somewhere. Because think about how God created everything. He spoke it out.
Yeah, he spoke it.
And that creation just carries on. That sound.
Look at that. Look at that rice experiment thing, you know, where that guy says nice things to one batch of rice and swears at another batch, and the one that they were horrible to, like, it's all horrible and nasty, you know.
Yeah, it started getting rotten and all this stuff. I saw someone do it to plants before. I saw someone do it to burgers and chips even.
Yeah.
And the one that there was like, you know, being nice to and stuff, started only getting moldy much later than the one who was swearing at every day and cursing. And it's quite crazy.
So that, like, this is literally why you should, like, bless your food before you eat it and bless your drinks before you drink them. You know what I mean? All crap that we're getting fed.
Exactly.
You know.
Exactly. And that's, I mean, with all the halal stuff going around now, it's very important to pray over your food.
Well, look at James about the tongue, what the tongue can do. You know, taming of the tongue. I mean, you can build someone up with the tongue. If you speak positivity, if you're speaking to someone's life, you can build them up. You can edify people and therefore edify Christ in the body of Christ. But at the same time, you can use that tongue to lash someone down. You can kill someone with your tongue. You know, you really can. I don't mean physically, tongue comes out and whips them and kills them. You know what I'm saying? But what you speak into someone's life. You say something really bad to someone that's not very positive, that's puts them down, and if they're in the wrong mind frame, you know, it possibly could do that to them. You know, send them off the deep end. So your tongue can lift up as well as whip down. So yeah, words powerful.
Yeah, words do hurt. I mean, if you have enough negativity in someone, eventually they get depressed, and you never know what happens after that. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's what Baltars try and do, you know. Look at the comments and what they're saying, that, you know, that's exactly what they're trying to do.
Of course.
Yeah, they'll be as negative as they possibly can. And they talk really nasty things over people just because people have a different belief system in them.
Yeah. Huh. He says if she thought everything would break.
Said, hey, I'm going to break that glass. And they start singing and they break it. You've never heard of it or seen it. You think it was some kind of magic.
Absolutely, yeah, witchcraft, yeah.
Yeah, that's witchcraft. Like, that's crazy. I can't do
No,
No.
you probably fathom in your own mind that like it was sound from the mouth that made it happen. You know what I mean?
Especially when you know yourself, when you hear loud sounds, or even if you're hearing that sound that shattered the glass, you're bound to feel some kind of vibration off of it. You know what I mean? When you hear loud noises, you feel a vibration. So you would put two and two together that vibration of sound broke that glass. Simple.
That's where science comes in.
Yeah.
It's like you're trying to figure out what caused what you observed.
Right.
And you realize, okay, the sound was what caused it. But then you realize it's not just any sound, it's a certain pitch.
That's it, exactly.
There we go.
Exactly.
It's not too hard to realize. It's not magic. I don't know how they get magic into this.
that, but they're, and it's not that they harnessed magic. It's just that they hit that same frequency, and I believe that that's the case with a lot of those old buildings, from the shapes that they use in the windows, the color of glass that they use, the bells. There's theories that played a major role, you know, with the pyramids, and that those are potentially power generators.
Yeah.
Oh my word! No one knows what the pyramids are.
No.
Okay? And I don't buy those coil springs that they're claiming underneath the pyramids either. That's just nonsense. That's just trying to push the alien deception.
Yeah, and a lot. Yeah, they're trying to say that the pyramids that we see
by aliens.
Just the top. Yeah, but the top part of the building, the rest is all underneath. It's kind of thing. And that's I've heard that as well. But yeah, those coil springs, I've seen that one.
And the problem with these Satan short seasons and Tartaria pushes and stuff, they're like, you see, this shows ancient civilizations that we don't know about.
Right.
Falling for the traps.
Completely based on that idea. But then you got to ask, where did they learn that? You know, there's not a lot of evidence that.
The Bible gives a lot of evidence. I don't know why you're saying there's not a lot of evidence. The Bible tells you straight out.
Absolutely.
Are they really going to? Are they really trying to say that when Christ reigned, he taught them how to make fantastic buildings that would keep them healthy and make them live longer? When it's literally God who makes you live longer. God who gives you your glorified body when that comes. You know what I mean? It's all God. It's what I mean. Buildings, no need for it.
Exactly.
No need at all.
But
That's right.
I still don't understand how they don't realize the Byzantine Empire was not Christian. It was Catholic, Roman Catholic. And
Right.
it was based upon idols and gargoyles and demons.
Yeah.
There was
And
nothing
riches.
Christian about it.
Like the Egyptians came from any type of background, and the Egyptians that we think of probably aren't the ones who built the pyramids anyway. But whoever did, whoever did, where did they get?
See? Again, more conjecture. That's all they do. It's not that. Okay, but prove what you're saying. Don't just say it. If it weren't the Egyptians that built the pyramids, who built it? Because I find it really odd that it's Egyptian hieroglyphics in those pyramids.
I'm going to have a stab in dark and say there were giants that built them, right?
Yeah. And some people call them Anunnaki, don't they? And some people call them aliens.
All civilizations had giants because of the fallen angels, the Nephilim, obviously. But that doesn't mean it weren't the Egyptians that built the pyramids.
Well, no, not necessarily, no.
The knowledge for that, and was it maybe during that reign where it was God-given knowledge, or was it demonic?
It could be one. It could be both. Well, because if you go way back,
How can it be both?
Exactly. How can it be both?
All knowledge is God-given.
No, but the guy in black said, if we believe this was the rain, then is this God-given knowledge or is it demonic? And JT literally says it could be both. How can it be both in millennial reign?
Oh my goodness.
But not just, but even not millennial reign. God doesn't work with demonic spirits. He doesn't mix with any demonic spirit. So, no, it cannot be demonic and God at the same time.
No, of course not.
It's one or the other.
if you read the book of Enoch, it mentions that when the angels came down, the watchers, they took wives. And it mentions how these angels that came down from descended upon Mount Hermon, they gave men technology. They gave them the arts of war, metalworking, metallurgy, witchcraft, all the kind of stuff. So it kind of makes sense that when you see some of the oldest megalithic structures, they look like the biggest and the grandest ones are the oldest ones.
Yeah.
I disagree with that as well. I disagree with that.
But don't forget, like, that were pre-flood.
Uh-huh.
And there were only Noah and his son's wife who survived that. So a lot of knowledge died in flood.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because all flesh was corrupt. Every thought they had were evil. Why would that be allowed to continue again?
Yeah. How would this all of a sudden happen? And he's saying all these greatest and oldest buildings, the buildings you see today, like cathedrals and things, we know when they were built. We know who built them. This guy's going on like, oh no, it's a mystery.
Yeah. They descended from heaven, ready-made.
And so,
Which is really strange. So it seems like that whatever technology this is, it makes sense. If you read in the book of Job, it says in Job 38, it says that the sons of God, the morning stars, they shouted for joy when God was laying the foundations of the earth. So
Job 38 says that.
And
Let's go. Job 38.
yeah, but so what?
Yeah, but he's saying it really. Okay. He's saying people shouted for joy when God laid the foundations of the earth.
Angels sang, didn't they? When
It says, Then the Lord answered Job out of the whirlwind and said, Who is the darkened counsel of words without knowledge? Give up thy loins like a man, for I will demand of thee, and answer thou me. Where wast thou when I laid the foundations of the earth? Declare, if thou hast understanding. Who hath laid the measure thereof? If thou knowest, who hath stretched the line upon it? Whereupon the foundations thereof fastened? Who had laid the cornerstone thereof? When the morning stars sang together. It says, when the morning stars sang together, and all the sons of God shouted for joy. That's not what JT said.
He says the sun. Did he say that sons of the morning stars?
Look, listen to his words. Listen to what he says.
Sure, he said sons of the morning star or something.
Yeah, but listen what he says.
So it seems like that whatever technology this is, it makes sense. If you read in the book of Job, it says in Job 38, it says that the sons of God, the morning stars, they shouted for joy when God was laying the foundations of the earth.
Shout for joy when God laid the foundations of the earth. Okay, I can take it if he says like that. That's fine.
Oh, we never had it.
well,
How's that?
Sorry? Didn't you guys hear
We
it?
never had it.
Oh, did you hear it? Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're still sure.
Okay,
It's all good.
sorry guys. Didn't realize. Okay, let's try this again.
It's really strange. So it seems like that whatever technology this is, it makes sense. If you read in the book of Job, it says in Job 38, it says that the sons of God, the morning stars, they shouted for joy when God was laying the foundations of the earth.
It's just the way he says it doesn't. But we can take it that way. It's fine. We can take it that way.
I don't understand why you brought that up though, because you were just
Talking about technology.
sentence before that talking about technology. You know.
Yeah, that has nothing to do with one another.
So these beings, if they weren't integral into the creation of these things, they witnessed it happening. So they know the mysteries of like the kind of material universe.
God told us how he did it. He spoke it into being. We know exactly how. Jesus said, "Let there be light," and there was light. Okay, where's the mystery there? Can anybody tell me what mystery that is? God is so powerful, he can speak things into being.
So those likely could have passed down this technology. And I believe that's kind of where you get into like the mystery schools and the esoteric knowledge of things. So
yeah, what technologies comes out of that?
What technology?
Those swords with the lasers that come out of them. You know,
I don't know how this has got to do with technology at all.
Yeah.
if you get all the way into like the times of, you know, Babylon, which they would have had knowledge where if some of this stuff was pre-flood, antediluvian knowledge, this was hidden. Some people believe it was actually hidden under Egypt. So the Babylonians get it, and they have all these ancient mysteries of the things they could do. Then you have what Persia, Greece, and the Romans.
Wow.
I'm just shaking my head. That's all I'm gonna say. I think it's this headache that's getting to me a bit too much.
Got some ibuprofen flats we need in it.
It's just fanciful, isn't it? Like that's all it is.
It's absolutely, absolutely fantastical. So it is. You're right. Fanciful. It's like imagination come to life. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like a kid, child's imagination. That kind of thing.
So it's likely that there is this tradition that goes all the way back to the Watchers, all the way back the beginning of the book of Genesis to today. But then you get into whether maybe some of God's people too did have knowledge of like this idea that God spoke this universe into existence. So if you think that now we're talking about frequencies and vibrations, like the sound of his voice left a fingerprint, like the Fibonacci pattern and things. And
we're going to start going down lines of co-creators if we're not careful here.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That sounds that way. It's almost like they're placing themselves on the same plane as Jesus. Same plane as God. If God can speak things into existence, then so can we. Because it's a technology. No.
No. Yeah, that doesn't happen.
But you get constantly get God talking about creation, saying, "Who were there? Who did this?" You know.
It was me. You know what I mean? You weren't there.
Think about
You
it.
know?
God, Jesus, when he's like saying that, he's kind of bragging and saying, you know, look how great I am.
Yeah.
You know? You're
He's
just a
boasting on
measly
his-
person. You're just a measly guy. You literally are my creation. Who are you to tell me what's going on?
That's right. That's why we're to
not
be in awe of
technology.
it.
It's not technology. It's insane, man.
Yeah, it sounds like some kind of Joel Osteen type doctrine. You know, you can speak things into existence. You know, and that's not how it works.
Mm-hmm.
That's not how it works. Only God can speak things.
I mean, I guess the thing is, it's like when you get into that kind of almost kind of Gnostic idea of like the knowledge of how everything is built in this material universe, it ultimately comes down to like your heart and like your intention with it. Like, you know, because you could know something and you could use it for God's glory, or you could know something and you could use it for your own.
Yeah, you can pervert anything. You can pervert, you know.
What has Gnosticism got to do with what he's just talking about now? He's all over the place. Is he agnostic?
There's a joker.
I'm confused. This guy's literally jumping all over the place. He's just saying what they would say word salad. Because
TikTok technology.
it does seem like he's trying to, you know, take
This
straws
is a
from
prime
everything. Yeah?
This is a prime example of what these things are fostering in truth community. Like, you know, people would rather believe this kind of crap than actual truth.
Yeah.
Insane.
I mean, he's just taking straws from all over the place and just pushing them in one basket, seeing what sticks.
I mean, if you've got to go back that way, you might as well just be a baller again.
Yeah.
Believing in fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
Satan and using us to do it. In fact, that's kind of what he's all about.
Yeah, he doesn't
right?
really create anything.
Yeah, he's not
he
a creator.
He takes something of God, either like he tries to co-opt it or he twists it and tries to invert it.
Oh, but he can take literally Jesus' existence away, according to you guys.
Yeah.
Wow.
What's an inversion on Christ coming? Christ already came.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they've fallen for Satan. They've fallen for his in-time deception.
Got these hook, line, and sinker, mate.
Yep.
And it really has.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's so easy. You just look at God's character and you look at the Bible, and then you look at like, okay, what do these guys believe? It doesn't fit.
No.
It doesn't fit. So what does it say? Oh, you're following the wrong Jesus.
So even those types of things that might seem kind of out there, new agey or spooky or things like that, those are all based on principles that God created at some point.
Absolutely.
They've just been hijacked. And some of them are probably way more popular on the occult side and on the darker side.
Well, right. There is that kind of fine line where we as Christians are supposed to walk in faith. So what like faith is kind of the opposite of knowing. Like, so if you know, so these
Faith is believing in things not seen.
Yeah, hope for things not seen, isn't it?
It's actually faith in the grace of Christ, though, isn't it?
Yeah, but I still don't understand what this has got to do with now what he just said as well. What has faith got to do with this?
Faith is the substance of things I'm seeing, and something about things hoped for, something like that. That's what it says in Hebrews 1, something like that. Hebrews 1 defines faith brilliantly.
But what faith that disciples had, though, because they could see Jesus. Yeah, it's the faith in him keeping his promise of salvation.
Exactly.
You know, that His grace is going to save you.
I mean, they had to have faith that Jesus would rise from the dead again, like He said He would.
These people are into gnosis, and they believe they get salvation through knowledge of things. So it's not that the New Age people are wrong about everything.
Oh, no, they're wrong. No, the New Age people are wrong.
Absolutely.
Probably right about lots of things. It's real, but
What are the New Age people right about? Tell me. I wonder why
really
he's sticking
important
so,
things that they're wrong
much
about.
up for New Age.
New Ages, universe this and universe is teaching this about me, and you know that kind of thinking. Like,
Yep.
Yeah, so I said Hebrews 1, didn't I? It's Hebrews 11.
Hebrews 11.
Now, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the
Things not
evidence
seen.
of things not seen. Yeah.
is why it's dangerous. It's like this thirst for more knowledge of things that, eventually you're starting to read esoteric Kabbalistic books, and then you're...
No, I don't. I don't read Kabbalistic books because I know what the Bible tells you not to. So does he read this nonsense?
don't know.
Because it kind of sounds like he says that.
Don't read Bible.
Well, if you read the Bible, you would know you should stay away from that stuff.
And then you're really far down the rabbit hole where you're denying, wait a minute, actually the Bible is a book of code, and it's really not saying what it actually says, and you have to be initiated
But that's
into
what
the
you
mission.
guys teach.
I know.
It's literally what they
It's the
teach.
Yeah.
The hypocrisy.
True schools. So I think that
Thomas, the reason I say they believe another Jesus is because they claim the Antichrist is Jesus in Daniel 9. That's a different Jesus. Sorry, Thomas.
that's the dangerous part. But going back to the frequencies in the buildings, what a lot of people have looked into in this community, it almost looks like that what these buildings look like is sound made into like stone. Like it is like that.
What?
Sound made into stone. No, what? Sound made into stone. I mean, I understand that sound can move stone, that it can shift it, that it's physical, but the only person that can do that is God, not us. Like make stone from sound. That's the person God can do that is God, not us. That just doesn't seem to make sense to be saying, to be honest.
It sounds like they're ripping God off, you know what I mean? Like when God said, let the dry land appear, that would be sound turning into land, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but you see, what they're doing is they're claiming, because you look at the shapes of the windows, the cathedrals.
Yeah.
No, they worked on the principle of... I had it in my head now when I was walking down here. Where if it's got to be on the right, it's symmetrical. They worked on the symmetrical principle. Okay? It's all art-based. So they understand it looks pretty if you have 4 petals on the right of the window and 4 petals on the left of the window.
More like based on what the things they see in nature, like.
Yeah, it's to be beautiful. It's just to look beautiful. That's it. It's nothing like sound is made at this building. What?
Like you mentioned something about different colours stained glass, like, you know.
They did it because it was pretty. Different
To
colour.
make any other claim that it would just like, it's basically like getting a colouring book.
Right. Paint by numbers.
You know.
But I mean, they thought it was pretty. Now, how does that make it somehow? It's technology, special technology. They stained glass, for Pete's sake. There's nothing special about staining glass. It's just to make it look nice.
Stone that's made out of sound.
There's people still knock around on YouTube pointing at weather vanes on top of churches and saying it's technology, like, you know.
Yeah.
Brilliant. It's on a pivot and the wind blows it.
Because I've heard these guys also say, well, not JT specifically, but the people that push like the Atari and all this nonsense. The shape of the buildings is pointy so it can harness the free energy of Earth. Because they believe they had electricity in those times.
But that starts tying into ether bollocks, doesn't it? Like, yeah.
And that's something we haven't got evidence for.
Thomas, they say Daniel 9:27 is not about the Antichrist, it's about Jesus. That's literally saying the Antichrist is Jesus.
Yeah, that's true. I guess Thomas might not have been there for that stream, like.
Yeah.
Time to watch Banjo and listen to Banjo.
Yeah, Panjo. Panjo.
Banjo, sorry, yeah.
If the windows are based on these cymatic patterns,
They aren't. There's no cymatic patterns in the windows. It's symmetrical patterns. That's all. I don't know why he keeps thinking cymatical patterns. There's no cymatical patterns with these windows.
Like
symmetry, and they look like flowers sometimes and stuff like that.
That's not symmetrical.
Yeah, like they call them, like the one in York's called Rose Window, isn't it? You know.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So clearly, it's trying to interpret a flower in it. You know what I mean?
Of course.
No, you wouldn't guess that with the name. Okay, look at this. He's looking at this and he's saying, "Oh, it's cymatics." That's not cymatics.
That doesn't look. I haven't seen. Well, maybe you do get cymatic shapes like that, but
No,
I
you
haven't
don't.
seen. I mean,
You don't get ones like that.
No, I haven't
What
seen them.
frequency you're gonna get that out of cymatics? You won't. This is simply aesthetics.
Of course.
It's all aesthetical.
I mean, and what's the excuse for the arch windows? Because I mean, I haven't seen cymatics like that, like the arch windows. You know what I mean? And you get arch windows that swirls.
Look at that.
You know?
Look.
You get them look like poppies.
It's art. It's all
crosses.
it is. It's art.
Yeah. Clovers.
I mean, is that now Semitic? Look at that. I mean, I think this is a bit more advanced.
Star shape.
Look at that.
It's meant to be like a star or based on the sun and stuff like that. Just shapes. Just
throwing star.
Mm-hmm.
Throwing stars. Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. It's beautiful art. But
Absolutely.
there's nothing really
I love
special
stained
about it.
glass
It's not like people today can't do that.
Stained glass windows are ace, man. Whoa.
Mm-hmm.
The Bible said not to make images of anything from heaven, on earth, or under earth.
Yep, it's idols.
It does, yeah.
So why have we got like stained glass images of Jesus and stuff like that?
Yeah, we shouldn't really. I mean, I do like them, but yeah, I mean, well, not all of them, but I do like some of them. But we shouldn't really have things like that. I definitely draw the line where when it comes to crucifixes, I don't like Jesus.
Look how much there are. Yes.
I don't, because it's and I've said this loads of times, but imagine you have a brother and he gets run over by a car and you have a photograph of that car on your wall. It's like,
right, you wouldn't
that's
do
what
it.
it seems like.
It's not just that. You see like the nails in his hand. You see him that it looks like he's sorrowful. You know what I mean? You know. Hey, Heron, good to see you.
Hey, Heron.
So yeah, it seems like it concentrates on the sorrow of Christ, rather than the joy of Christ.
Well, he's not on cross, is he? Like, he's permanently on cross in these churches, and he's literally not on cross.
Exactly.
Yeah, and he's bleeding, and it's quite graphic. Yeah. But I mean, look at this.
Absolutely.
Is this supposed to be now? No,
Well, all them different colours are doing different things to your body, you know what I mean?
it's healing
like,
you, man. Insane.
What if they did have the ability to manipulate the stone? Because the repeating patterns in some of this architecture is really hard. You really struggle with the idea that somebody, no matter how good of a craftsman they were, that they could have repeated this pattern where they have like flat.
Total nonsense. Total nonsense.
Look at them people that can fake, that can make them crop circles. Like, look how intricate they are. Like, they can make it in a few hours overnight. You know.
So he's trying to say with the right sound, the right frequency, he can make that rock break up and turn into another shape type thing. That's what he's saying, isn't he?
Yeah.
Well, I want to show you guys something.
Reform it with sound.
He's saying it's impossible. Okay, look at this guy, okay? He's doing 3 different photos at the same time with one hand.
That's so good, man.
Okay? Now he wants to say, oh, it's impossible for someone to build a symmetrical window. Oh,
That's
come on,
ace. That's fantastic. How the heck does he have that control?
That's a talent. That's a talent, man.
It would be hard enough to try and get the middle one, the 2 outer ones, exactly the same as the middle one, but yet he can do them all differently
At the same time.
That's nuts, man. I've never seen that.
And there's other people that do that as well.
That's beautiful.
But my point is, he's like, oh, you find it really impossible for someone to do symmetrical windows that's tinted. How do they do that? I don't know. Maybe because it's what they did as their craft. People were, it's their job.
Yeah.
Man. People have different skill sets if he hasn't realized that.
Of course.
Hours in the ceilings, and they all are symmetrical and perfect. How does a man have that kind of a steady hand?
I don't know. Maybe trial and error. Maybe he tried to paint one hand 100 times until he finally said, okay, this is perfect now, and moved on to the next hand. I don't know. Maybe just some people have a skill. I remember while I was studying art, there was this one girl in our class. She just had this natural talent to do animals perfect. The fur, as in like hyper realistic. But she would literally spend a week on a cheek, for instance, just getting it perfect. You know what I mean? Put layer upon layer upon layer upon layer upon layer until eventually you see what it says.
Yeah.
So maybe it's just someone's skill. So when he says, "Oh, how did they get this hand perfect?"
Practice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Skill and practice.
That's it. It's like my mum, excellent drawer, natural drawer. My brother, good natural drawer. My older sister, excellent natural drawer. Me, I mean, I can draw, but I have to practice and practice to be any kind of good. They're just naturally good.
Yeah, but I mean, when
I swear they're naturally good for that. I was naturally good in the athletic department when I was younger.
But for instance, when I did a painting or whatever, it would take me 3 to 6 months to complete a painting.
Perfection.
It's not just finished,
No, I mean, it can always be, especially a painting, it can always be worked upon. You know? They did that.
I would do multiple different paintings because they had different deadlines.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen these people that carve stuff with chainsaws? Like,
oh yeah.
Oh, that's
good.
good.
Detail they can do with a big butchering chainsaw. They can make some intricate, fantastical designs. You know what I mean? So,
even people work with epoxy resin and lathes and stuff. Do it artistically. It's brilliant. Some of the stuff they do.
Yeah. I just don't understand how you can limit people.
Now, like I said, I'm not saying I know, but it's the same thing like with the pyramids. People say, well, how did they move with 2.5 ton stones that were like the Great Pyramid has 2.5?
Well, if you read your Bible and understood that giants are probably there in that land, they were able to help move the things.
That's it.
I mean, there's a lot of structures out there that if you look at like the steps and the doorways and stuff, it's made for giants.
Yeah. A 6 foot man ain't stepping up them steps.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Yeah, man.
The average stone is 2.5 tons, and there's 2 million of them. Well, how did they do it? I have no idea. The only thing I'm sure
From 400 miles away.
The only thing I'm sure of is it's not how they say they did it.
Yeah.
They didn't cut it with copper tools, and they didn't drag these giant blocks.
Oh, because you just say so. So just because he doesn't believe how it's said, doesn't
not
make it
good,
not
really.
that way, yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's a lot of things we don't understand how they do, because no one will really know. No one was there.
Of course.
But it doesn't mean it was impossible, because it was done. It doesn't mean it wasn't humans that did it.
Like, in that, weren't that the point in flood, though?
Yeah.
You know, to do away with some of this knowledge that we're taught to mankind that it shouldn't have been. I'm not saying
The Tower
all
of
of
Babel
it
as well.
got away with, like, but
But I mean, look
Yeah,
at the Tower of
it's
Babel.
a fast reboot. You know what I mean?
But I mean, even look at the Tower of Babel. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine if like man figured out just said JT's right and they were manipulating stone with sound. There'd be another Babel knocked up in quick time.
Oh, yeah.
You know, they'd be trying to get to God again. You know what I mean?
I mean, you would think by now they would have used that technology to build skyscrapers today.
Yeah.
Across the sand. Yeah, they didn't.
And also, why when they built Tower of Babel did they not use this technology? Because if you read, I think it might be in Book of Joshua, it says it got to a point where it was like taking a man with a brick over a year to get from ground to where he needed to lay that brick.
That's crazy.
You know what I mean? It's like, wow.
Insane.
Wow, man.
And anybody, and like there were some people who dropped the brick and they were put to death because they'd wasted all that time and dropped brick. You know what I mean? So why were they using technology to build that? You know.
And you know, just having a man stationed at every level all the way up would still take as long to get that brick up there as well. You know what I mean?
Put them in some kind of tiny rickety boat 200 miles down the Nile. I don't believe that either.
And what makes these theories compelling, in fact, the only reason we have to theorize at all is because of it's clear that they cover up. You know, like they're not being transparent about anything. And then, you have that one guy.
Have to theorize because you don't know.
Yeah, but who's this they? Who's this they they're talking about?
Yeah, it's not being transparent.
I don't think.
The ones who are hiding all this technology.
Yeah, but I mean, it's common knowledge that a lot of people, even the archaeologists and things today, there's things that are, you know, they have to try figure out. We don't really know. We can have theories on how it happened, but no one really knows to a certainty because no one was there. That doesn't mean they're hiding anything. They just don't know.
Who's that guy who's like the head of all the Egyptian archaeology?
Zahia Was.
Yes, he was on the Joe Rogan podcast, and I watched that one because I was wondering if
Anybody that goes on the Joe Rogan podcast cannot really be trusted.
I don't know why you'd watch Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
I've never watched that guy ever in my life.
I don't know why he's got such a huge following, to be honest. The guy chop and changes his things like crazy.
Yeah.
Joe would kind of pick at him, you know, for being kind of like so veiled and so like just kind of full of BS, you know. And he did. Like you could tell he was really frustrated with him, and he just wanted to promote his book. And he's like, "Well, you know, because I'm the authority there. You just have to trust me."
Gatekeeper.
It was a whole trust me, bro thing, you know. But he wouldn't even entertain certain theories where it's like, you know, I feel like that's how I learned the most is just being open to every theory. And if something lands wrong with me, that's fine.
And that's maybe why you guys are Satan short seasonists. Because you don't know when to draw the line.
Fine. You know, I cannot believe in it after I learn about it. You know, but it was interesting that, like, the cover up, the lack of transparency, the lack of knowledge. That's the only reason we have to do what we do. That was a big
Talk
one.
about vibrations.
Yeah.
This room was actually built for helicopter vibrations to. Yeah.
But it's come to the point, I think, where the deception is so strong. If you're not theorizing, like, you're not thinking at all. Like, you have to theorize. You're not going to be
Absolutely.
spoon-fed anything, any truth. You have to seek it.
Yeah, I would say that was one thing God has taught me on this journey is that you start off with, like, I'm not really sure what's true.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you're learning more and you're saying, well, this seems possible. But never be so in love with your own theories
That's
that
why
you're reaching.
Bible.
Exactly. That's why you have the Bible. 100% agree. Because if it doesn't fit with the Bible, it's probably a no-go.
Yeah.
If
But
it
like they're
contradicts the
talking
Bible-
about, they're talking about things that are in this world, and we're not of this world.
Exactly.
Satan's the god of this world. So why would you use out from world to discern out to do with God?
Exactly.
Use Bible.
Mm-hmm.
Rejecting, like somebody actually correcting you, then you're leading you to a better conclusion, then you might learn more.
Yeah.
But the first time, like the day that you finally say, I've figured it all out, it's the last day you'll learn anything.
Yeah.
You will never be able to learn. So I think that's the thing that really kind of turned me off of, like, academia, is people who are quote unquote Egyptologists, and they've got it all figured out. And so things that do not fit in their paradigm are just rejected. And you're like,
Sounds kind of hypocritical, because that's exactly what you guys do. Doesn't it sound like what they're doing?
It's like Freemasonry, man.
Yeah, it's literally what they're doing. It doesn't fit with what I say, so therefore it's not true. He's literally saying the same thing.
this is not science. This is ridiculous. It's like, so you start to pick at the whole thing. You pull the thread of the sweater, like, so why would it be a problem if this is true?
Mm-hmm.
Well, because we've got all studies, and because we're real smart men, and we wrote many good books about this kind of stuff. So if that's true, then it's back to the drawing board.
Yeah.
But the truth of the matter is it's just that I think that that's something that I find a horrible quality in people. It's just the lack of humility, and just, I think that
Projection.
Big projection. Big projection there. Where's the humility by these guys? Wow.
some of the most fun part of having these kind of podcasts is the mystery of it all. Like, I don't have it all figured out. All I'm saying is that I don't believe this, so therefore this could be true. And the more I've seen other people kind of with that mindset, because just the whole concept of Satan's little season, I grew up in a...
This is the man who literally says, if you don't accept that when Jesus says this generation, if you don't accept that's the people that Jesus is talking to, then you're calling God a liar. Hello?
I heard you. I said I was on mute though. I was right because I had a phone call come from the doctor. I ordered some of that cream, so yeah, I've got to pick up some more. But they're saying it only comes in the small tubes. They well, can I have two then?
Right,
Like, maybe one at a time. It's a tiny tube and there's a big area to cover. It's
Comes
really
in, you can get 30 gram tubes.
Yeah, that's what it is. 30 grams. She said it only comes in 30 grams.
Now they're big tubes though.
Well, the tube they gave me was small. Well, 30 grams, big tube. Diplosalic. Well, she said, I don't.
Show me it.
Well, it's gone. It's finished.
Oh,
Finished a year ago. That's why I told them on. But it came in. I've still got the box.
There might be 50 gram. I've got one. I'll go and get it now and show you.
Oh, I'm dying of heat chat tonight. Wow. Okay.
traditional church family. So you don't start off believing this. right? Like, I don't know any.
It's not a Sunday school lesson.
I don't know anybody who started off believing we're in Satan's little season. So
Yeah, because it's not taught, because we are not in Satan's little season.
Sent you a picture of it before. Anyway,
No one's going to believe in Satan's short season or get taught by it because people understand that we're not in Satan's short season. So why would they teach it? It's a heretical doctrine.
right.
that everybody who's come to this conclusion has said, "Dang, the devil's pretty crafty. He got me there." So we have said, maybe we could be wrong about this, like what we thought was before. So then it's allowed us to say, it's allowed us to kind of revisit the things that we think we know. Mm-hmm. You know, like we have to re-examine everything we've been taught at this point. And I think that is like this, when you do research into history, you just find out it's really vague in a lot of places. Mm-hmm. Just this, even the quote unquote history that's been established as fact, it's not. And of course, once you start to get to years.
Oh, it's not because you say so.
I sent you a WhatsApp, Michael. No, that's 30 grams there, and that's small. It's really small. Then.
I'll go get my tube from upstairs and and see what mine is.
Oh, you can't see in WhatsApp.
I'm on tablet, so I can't see it.
oh yeah, sorry.
Give me 1 minute. Just give me a minute.
Yeah, 30 grams really small for me. This tube is tiny. It's like
it's like 2021. You know, whether you're left on the paradigm, if you're right on the paradigm, we all acknowledge that fake news is a real thing, right? No. I don't think anybody who's awake at all would try to disagree with me there. Okay, so what's fake news that's 50 years old? It's fake history. So you'd be really naive to believe that they lied to you today, but they wouldn't lie. They wouldn't have lied back then. Yeah. And if they've lied 50 years ago, what about 100 years ago?
Yeah, I was wrong. The 100-gram tube's big ones.
Yes, I told you, so 30 grams really small, and that's all we've got is 30 grams. And I says, can I have two then? Oh, we can only give you one at a time. Like, so it literally lasts me 2 days. Yeah, they're a bigger one. They're huge. Yeah, they're huge. Yeah, that's like the big things of ibuprofen you get, that size. But no, 30 grams is like just a little tube, little ditty tube about that. Length of your, double length of your pinky, probably.
Yeah. Now they're not. They used to give me little ones, and then they're just like they give me one of them little tubes for both feet, and to use it for 7 days, and after 2 days it'd all be gone.
Exactly. Mine's is both feet, both shins, and both hands, and it's a little tube.
No, it's not enough.
No, exactly. And
you need to tell them that. Like, you need to tell them that. I know you're supposed to use it thinly, like, but
yeah,
you know.
I just did, and she literally said, "That's all I can give you." And I says, "Well, can you give me two then? Since it's only doing 30 milligrams." No, I can only give you one at a time. Like, what is it with you guys, man? It's beyond a joke. Anyway, sorry, class.
But about 200 years ago. But about 1,000 years ago.
Yeah, when there was no oversight.
Yeah. Well, history is always written by the victor.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So it's like whatever I say. No,
and these aren't new methods.
That's why it's really interesting that the good guys won every major war.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that?
Well, that is one thing. That is one thing that will never change. America is the best. Back-to-back World War champs. Nobody else can say that.
Yeah. The good guys have won every major conflict. Just so.
Yeah.
It's lucky like that.
Yeah.
No, I mean, yeah. So the real question is that would they lie? Yeah, absolutely they would lie. Because why would they want us to know the truth? I mean, you think about that. Like
why would they want us to know the truth? I don't know. Why would they not want us to know the truth? I don't know. Again, it's just conjecture. The guy's divining people's motives. The funny thing about history is it's always collaborated with other sources and archaeological findings. Okay? It's a bit difficult to really lie about history and get away with it. Hence why we're able to pick apart the nonsense. So the people known the globe for 2,000 years. No, they didn't. Because history doesn't comport with that.
Exactly.
Right.
But when it comes to saying, oh, Jesus was living 2,000 years, history is full on showing that to be true. Okay?
Yeah.
Now this guy's talking, oh, but they're lying about history just because we seem to need 700 years extra where they've just taken it away or they've added 700 years or whatever.
Ooh.
It's total nonsense. What is that?
Farting.
No, I got caught in my seat. No, I put my phone in my seat. And when
Sound like
when,
you're squeaking a sweaty one. That.
yeah, when you plump your butt down in the seat, it always makes a foot noise.
Thomas says, well, I'm a heretic because I believe we're in Armageddon now. What?
You
He's saying,
can't be.
He's saying, lol. You can't say we're in Armageddon now.
Yeah, if you're saying you're in Armageddon, then you're literally saying these people are saying.
Yeah.
The robber barons want us smart enough to work the levers in the factory, but they don't want us to be smart enough to question the fact that we're in the factory in the first place. So yeah, another good quote about history is that Napoleon Bonaparte, if he actually said this, because a lot of famous quotes are attributed to people that probably never said it. He said that history is a set of lies agreed upon.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a pretty deep quote because it's like that, yeah, they finally agreed like the victors said this is what the truth was. And then they put it in a history book and now we're taught it. And if you start to question it, you're a conspiracy theorist, you're crazy, but you'd be crazy not to question it. Because if you think that...
Why? Why must you question what he said?
I mean, that's the thing. It doesn't make you a heretic if you believe it. It makes you a heretic if you push it. You know, because people can be led down the wrong road and believe the wrong thing. But if you're pushing a false doctrine onto people, then that is heresy. You know, if you're pushing a false doctrine, not just for believing it does make you heretical, but if you're believing it and pushing it and teaching it, that makes you heretical, I think. You know, because anybody can be deceived. You know?
But I think you have to think about it at the end of the day. If you believe something, does it fit with the Bible? Does it fit with current times? And if it doesn't, 9 out of 10 times it's heretical.
Yeah. I mean, you have got fallacious where it's misunderstanding, you know, but you know that's a fine line between that and heresy, you know. Absolutely.
Michael, it sounds like your phone is has a heartbeat or something.
Yeah.
Does it sound like I'm underwater again?
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like it's like you're carrying your phone with your loudspeaker inside your pocket or something.
Yeah.
You know,
and
it's like rubbing against jeans or something like that. That's what it sounds
I'm literally
like.
not. It's on a stand, my tablet. Like I'm literally not touching it. I'll have to drop out and come back in because it just does it. I think.
Yeah, I remember when I used to be on the
struggling with his sound before we started as well.
You what?
I see you were struggling with your sound before we started as well.
Yeah. But no, I'm not moving. My tablet's stationary. Like I'm not moving or touching it.
It sounds like you're running around. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll drop out and come back in.
Yeah, tablets ain't good for this kind of streaming thing.
No.
Remember that before I got the laptop and then before I got the PC and that, I was doing tablet for YouTube and the phone for Element, you know, and so and vice versa. And I had a lot of trouble with the tablet. I gave that tablet to this lord as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you did.
He didn't even need it in the end. I gave him it because I thought he needed it. Then I found out he had a PC, a laptop, and another tablet. I was like, wow. I gave him it because I thought he needed it.
I could have used it.
Exactly. You know? It's just because I offered it Spud, didn't I? Because Spud was struggling with Chromebook. And then he says, no, I'm getting a Chromebook soon, so it's all right. And then this one says, oh, I could do with it. So I thought he needed it, so no problem. And then I find out later he's got all these other ones. I'm like, what?
What's up, Michael? Working. Oh, sounds off again.
Can't get him though. Are you muted, Michael?
No, he struggled with his sound as well before we started.
Maybe it takes a while to kick in on the tablet. I don't know. Yeah, he's dropped again.
Yeah. But I think we're going to end here anyway. I've got a headache. I'm not feeling too great.
Yeah.
I did try.
Yeah, it's not good when you got a headache and you're looking at the screen. I can't stand it. So I had to get the other week. I couldn't wait for it was movie night, and I really couldn't wait for the film to finish. I couldn't just stop it down then because I was watching the movie. So I mean, I was neck and blooming then. Ibuprofen like the sweets. You know what I mean?
Because my wife and thing they were also a bit sick, and I think I caught the bug now because it's catching me quite a bit.
It could be actually looking at the computer screens as well. I mean, it's not very good for your eyes, and then no good for your head.
Yeah, but I don't look at computer screens all day.
No, true. But usually when that happens to me, I end up having. I've got really sensitive eyes anyway. Sensitive skin, sensitive eyes. You know what I mean? Even if it's a half bright day, I have to look down at the ground like that. I can't look straight forward. The sun blinds me.
I don't know if Michael's going to come back in.
Maybe here you said you were stopping.
Yeah, maybe. But so I think we're going to end this here.
All right, bro.
Because I really got to go. Whew, burning up here.
Don't blame me, man. Yeah, go and get your head down, man.
I appreciate you coming. You're going to have a show now, correct?
No, I'm not until I had one earlier. I'm not until tomorrow now.
Awesome. I saw you might want to do a show on Josh Monday and Jaron. Jaron was on Josh Monday's show recently talking.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I started watching it, listening to it today at work. Quite a good discussion, to be honest.
Okay, I'll have a look at that.
But yeah, it's something you might want to watch.
Cool. Why not? I'll have a look at that. I might do a stream on it.
Yeah. Okay. So thanks for coming, man. Thanks, Michael.
Bless,
wherever
bro.
you are in the. Yeah, he's at his mom's, and I know he's struggling because he's on his tablet. Thank you everybody in the YouTube lands as well. Appreciate you all for coming. Thank you, Thomas, Emma, Heron, Vicky, everybody who supports this channel. You guys rock. See you all tomorrow for an ordinary show again. We'll probably start a half an hour earlier again tomorrow, so 8 o'clock instead of 8:30.
6 o'clock for me.
Because I'm alone at home, so
well, it's
nothing
good
better
because
to do.
Vicky's doing a stream tomorrow night as well. So the earlier you're on, better, because she's doing a stream after you finish. So the earlier you are on, the better, to be honest.
Awesome. Yeah, you guys must then share a stream, and then we'll put it. Oh, yes, Michael. You back, man? And it's still not working.
Okay.
Hello?
There it is.
Yeah, just saying we
Actually, start tablet.
No stress. I was saying we're going to end it, yeah. Not feeling too great.
Yeah.
Not feeling too great.
Sorry.
You guys can probably still talk.
It might be for best anyway.
Yeah. It's no good to try to stream when you've got sore
I'll
head.
probably just be sitting with my eyes closed on the bed till my wife and them get to their destination because they're still going to be about another hour. So.
Don't blame it. Dark room, eyes shut. That's brilliant.
Can't imagine stressor it all's helping, right?
Yeah, that doesn't help.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, because I wasn't going to stream tonight, by the way, guys, because I was going to drive through, but I could organize a lift, so. Okay, but I'll see you guys in all tomorrow. Many blessings. Again, thanks for all the support. You guys rock. Thank you for all the chill chats, because I do enjoy these streams. That's just, just relaxing. Talk about anything, really. God bless.